That was a double sipper that time. This conversation, in fact, is a double sipper because it is a hot topic in the world of gaming and Minecraft. Pay to win is a hard topic to discuss, but we're gonna try and start tackling this subject with this video and maybe some other videos in the future as well, because a lot of people have questions about it. Not only do we have questions about if pay to win is acceptable under Minecraft and Mojang's EULA, we also just have this question of is pay to win a good business model to follow if you are trying to create a business out of your Minecraft server? My name is Stifflered and welcome to the cafe where we talk about tools, tips, and tricks to take your Minecraft creations to the next level. Let's dig right into this now and let's talk about some pay to win business models within Minecraft. If you are running a Minecraft server and you're trying to monetize it in some way through donations or selling ranks or cosmetics or permissions or pay to win features and whatnot, this is definitely a topic for you that you're probably going to be interested in. So stick around because I want to use an analogy today that I saw that was really interesting to me. It really caught my attention and it gave me some thoughts for how we as Minecraft server owners and as, dare I say, game developers can approach this subject of pay to win. I will say before we even get into this, the phrase pay to win is different for different people. So we all have different definitions of what pay to win can be. And I don't necessarily want to get into all of that today. Maybe we could talk about that in a future video. We can definitely talk about it in my Snapshot MC Discord server or on the Snapshot MC website, which you can find links to down in the description below. It's made for creators and server owners, people like you and I, so we can chat about these types of subjects. Today, when I refer to pay to win, I am talking specifically about selling items for your Minecraft server that give a competitive advantage to buyers of those items over players who don't. While there are definitely some examples of pay to win on things like a survival server, adventure maps, or creative servers, those are less competitive generally speaking. And so even though pay to win can definitely fall under those umbrellas of different types of game modes for Minecraft servers, I'm specifically going to be talking about competitive game modes, mini games, PvP, and things of that sort. For example, let's say you have a kit PvP Minecraft server and you sell a rank in your server store that allows players to have fly. This gives a distinct advantage to those players who buy that rank because then they can just fly around and kill other players from the sky and can barely even be touched. Putting aside the question of is pay to win EULA compliant? Quick answer is it's not. Not even close, not even a little bit. It's not compliant with Mojang's EULA, and if you do that on your Minecraft server, you could get blacklisted. Even with that known though, some servers still try to implement pay-to-win strategies on their server, and a lot of server owners and developers will argue that pay-to-win is a good business practice. Today I want to tackle exactly that subject. Is pay-to-win actually a good business practice? And I'm going to use one analogy that I saw written by a gentleman named Ramin Shokrizad. I think that's how you pronounce his name. I'm going to leave a link to his article down in the description below, but I really liked his analogy a lot because it shows a fundamental flaw in competitive pay-to-win scenarios. The business model of pay-to-win is a short-term lucrative business model. You will make money quickly, but you will not make money long term. I've heard a lot from different server owners, even of big networks, who say that pay to win within a competitive scenario is a good business model and that they need to have pay to win because it allows them to cover their costs. But a claim that I would make today is that if these people understood good business models, they would recognize that pay to win is not a sustainable business model at all. And in fact, their pay-to-win strategy that they currently have on their servers is causing them more harm. It is actually hurting their revenue streams today more than other things that they claim are problems. So they might say that Mojang's EULA is hurting their bottom line, or their inability to advertise properly, or other costs of doing business are actually causing their revenue streams to depreciate. But I would say that a major contributing factor of the reason why some of these pay-to-win servers are struggling more today to pay the bills than they were in the past is actually because of a pay-to-win business model. So let's get to this analogy and actually talk about why pay-to-win in a competitive Minecraft server is not a good business model. So Ramin's analogy goes like this. Imagine that you and 4 other players are going to sit down for a game of poker. Poker is gambling and therefore is a lottery, and under US federal law, gambling lotteries are illegal, but we're going to use poker as an example here as an easy way to illustrate the fundamental ideas behind pay-to-win strategies and business models. So you've got 5 people sitting down for a game of poker. The first hand that's dealt, the players sit down at the table and they get dealt their hand free. That first hand that's dealt is free. And we're going to use that as the basis of our analogy, is that the first hand dealt to all of these players is free. Just like with a Minecraft server, it's free for the public to access. So you got these 5 players, right? And they all get their hand and they look at what resources they have available to them. And one of them decides they have a good opportunity here, so they decide to bid. The first person decides to bid $50. This would be equivalent to a person on your server buying a rank that gives them a little bit of an advantage. One of the 5 players decides they're not interested in playing, they don't have the best hand, so they drop out. The other 3 players, though, also join in and they up that ante. So they all go in $50. So those 4 players have that money on the table. They've all bought in. They've all raised their bids up $50 each. It's all looking good. And the house is like, I got that money though. On the next go around, one of the players decides to up the ante and they raise their bid an additional $50. So now they're up to $100. The other 3 players have to decide, are they going to increase their bid? One of them decides, no, I'm not interested. And then another one decides, I'm not interested either. But the third guy, they decide, yeah, I'm gonna go in too. I'm going to also up the ante. The 2 that just dropped out, their money isn't gone. It's still in the pot. Now, here we go. We have $300 in the pot. And again, if we just go back to how this analogy is working on a Minecraft server, this would be people maybe upgrading their rank or buying additional permissions or buying better weapons or whatever. They're increasing the amount of money that they are investing on the server. Now, this pattern continues between these couple of different players. They are competing against each other and they are going to continue to up the ante. And the reason that they're doing this is not now just so that they can try and win, but because by upping the ante, they are defending the money that they have already invested. If they've already put in $50 or $100 into the pot, they don't want that to just go away. They think maybe there's a chance I'll win here, so I don't want to lose the $50 or $100. This is where the gambling and the lottery part comes in. They're like, oh, I don't want to lose that money I've already invested, so I'm going to invest more money to protect my initial investment. And this is looking pretty nice. There's a lot of money on the line here, and there is a lot of money in that pot, and the house is looking pretty happy right now. Eventually, one of those players decides, I can't bid anymore. And so my upgrades are over. I can't go any higher. I'm done. I fold. And they quit. The other player, obviously they win and they get a whole bunch of money. They get a big fat stack of cash because they just won. It's pretty good. Now on a Minecraft server, there might not be an actual stack of cash that they win. It might just be glory. It might be able to put them on the leaderboard or give them some kind of a cool prefix or something like that to say that they are the winner. Meanwhile, the money, all $450 of it, goes into the server. So the server just made $450, and some of you might be thinking, whoo, I'd love to make me some $450 right now, baby. You would think that, but you'd be missing something. Initially, we started off with 5 players, and of those 5 players, one of them immediately dropped out. The other 4 stuck around, but 2 of them dropped out after their first bid. That left us with 2 players remaining. Now, on a Minecraft server, we're talking about dozens, if not hundreds, or even thousands of players. So it's not just one person dropping out right at the start, it's 100 people dropping out right at the start. And then another 200 people dropping out after they throw in a couple of dollars. We have a name for these last 2 people here. They are called whales. And the reason we call them whales is because they got a big old bunch of money and they want to spend it so that they can win. And these whales are great for getting you a whole bunch of money right away. In the short-term process, you can make $450. Without these 2 whales right here, that pot would have been much lower. Now, here's the thing. Once those whales get what they want, and one of them did not, they ended up dropping out. That last whale got what they wanted. They won, got on that leaderboard, and you made $450. But what inevitably ends up happening is that players start to realize that they can't win unless they can afford to buy the win. And so they lose interest. The competitive nature of the game no longer interests them because the game itself is not fun. In fact, if you can buy a win, then it's not really a game anymore. It's just entertainment, like a movie or a book or an album is entertainment, where you buy it and you watch it and you experience it, but then that's it. There's nothing more to it. There's no skill to progress with. There's no new adventures to go on. There's no story to unravel. There are no mysteries to reveal. Players can't get better, and it doesn't even matter if they do, because someone else can come in and buy the win. Because of this, a majority of the players will very quickly realize they cannot buy the win, and they just decide to not even play at all. Or if they do decide to play, they'll never put in a dime because they know that investment will never pay off for them. Meanwhile, the whales already have their win and they don't need to invest any more money into it. In that poker hand where we have that one winner, the game ends at the end of that person winning. It does not continue. The game doesn't go any further, and so that winner does not need to invest any more money either. They have accomplished the top goal and there's nothing left for them to accomplish. But even if you can keep the whales around and keep them playing and keep them upping the ante, it's not sustainable. Eventually, the other players who realize that this is an anti-game and that they cannot compete by buying the win, they'll quit, and they'll quit exceedingly faster. A reputation will begin to be created about that server, and players, as gaming itself and Minecraft gaming has evolved, are becoming really in tune with what pay-to-win servers look like. So they're joining, they're recognizing that this is a pay-to-win server and that they would have to buy the win, and they're saying, haha, I'm not even gonna put in any stakes. You might get to keep your whales around for years, but eventually even they will get tired of buying the win because it's not as cool anymore. The glory is not as great. Imagine, if you will, that there were 1,000 players when that whale first bought the win. That's 1,000 players that they got to show off in front of. That's pretty cool for them. Over the years, those players are dipping out faster and faster and faster until one day that whale is playing and they buy the win, and it's only for 5 or 6 people. Glory has been diminished. The game has died. The server is not making enough money to pay its staff. An alternative to relying on whales to fund your server and relying on these pay-to-win practices to get the funding that you need to cover your costs, if you instead focus on developing great gameplay and mechanics that your players will enjoy, and then sell items that don't necessarily allow them to buy the win, but can enhance their experience, or maybe as DLC type content. Maybe it's like another server that's an expansion of the original, or a single player map that your players can download as part of the storyline that is attached to your server. Or there's 1,000 different ways that we could go about selling items to monetize your server without relying on whales. When your focus is on creating a great experience for your players and making a game rather than a movie, an entertainment piece that you purchase and then experience once, then not only will you have the respect of other server owners and of Mojang, which will not blacklist you, but you'll also have more players sticking around long term and enjoying themselves on your server. And the more players that you have on your server, the more opportunities that you have to monetize in really unique and creative ways. Maybe you can create a build team for your server that does really awesome things on your server for thousands of players, and a YouTuber recognizes your skills and hires you to build maps for them. Or maybe one day you can release a pay-to-play server that you advertise to all of those thousands of players that you have on your free-to-play server, and because they love the great experience they had on your free-to-play server, they decide to all pitch in $5 over on that pay-to-play so that they can get access over there. Having 1,000 players paying $5 a month makes you a lot more money than having 5 players give you $450 a month. And it creates a healthier ecosystem and environment for your community to thrive in. All right, that's enough with that analogy and all the explanation. I think you get it. I want to hear what you guys think down in the description below. I will leave off with one last comment. Pay to win is not necessary for your server to be sustainable. I'm just gonna come right out and say it. To everyone who says pay to win is required to make money on Minecraft, I would like to point you to any of the dozens of incredibly successful and wealthy game studios that make free-to-play games that do not have pay-to-win aspects. Minecraft can be whatever we want. We have the flexibility to create some really unique games. So yes, you can make a Minecraft server that fits within a genre of gaming that has a lot of pay to win aspects to it, but you can also make your Minecraft server fit within a genre that does not have a lot of pay to win aspects to it, or any at all. If you say that pay to win is the only way to monetize your server, you lack imagination, and to be honest, you lack good business sense. Being a business owner, being a server owner means being able to adapt. You have to be able to adapt to any hurdles that get in your way. If you can't do that, then you don't have the experience that you think you do. I'm done being talked down to because a 22-year-old who has never held a job outside of running a Minecraft server that they got lucky with when they launched it 5 years ago thinks that I don't have an opinion worth sharing because my server network doesn't have thousands of players at the same time. Business is business. We learn how to run our businesses and we learn how to adapt our businesses. Pay to win may work for you, and you may be able to create a long-term sustainable Minecraft server that has pay to win aspects in it. But if you say you must have pay to win in order to survive, you are relying on an excuse to defend your cognitive bias, and you need to pull up your business owner pants and learn how to adapt. Oh, but that all just got real tense, didn't it? Oh man, that was getting kind of heavy, man. Stifflered, dude, calm down, relax, bruh. Look, guys, I'm just being real with you, okay? There are a lot of server owners out there who are doing some really cool, really awesome stuff, and there are server owners out there who are also doing cool, awesome stuff and are relying on pay to win, but you're still cool people, and I just want you guys to recognize that, like, you might be hurting yourselves in more ways than you think by relying on pay to win aspects. It's not a sustainable long-term business model. It just isn't. You can can name off any number of games that are pay to win, and you can say, oh look, they're so successful, they made millions of dollars or whatever. None of them are around for long-term sustainability because they're alienating their player base. They are isolating the whales, and then they're losing the thing that made those whales want to invest in them to begin with. That beautiful, golden, glorious touch of the big win that they bought. Focus on making a good game. Focus on making a fun server. Focus on creating an experience that your players want to come back to over and over and over again, and then monetize within that in a way that doesn't exploit people. That's how you create sustainable business. I wish you all the best of luck. I want to hear from you. Down in the description below, there are links to Snapshot MC server, Discord server, and website, or you can just leave a comment and let me know how stupid you think I am and how much you hate me because I don't know anything because I don't have a large server network. Blah. Anyway, I'll see you guys around later. Peace.